and plumbing. Let us show you how hot a fire can really get.
Watch the heat in this room build to explosive heights. What you see happening here is called a flashover. The intense heat reaches a point where almost everything in the room is burning. The temperature is now hundreds of degrees, and the smoke itself is ready to ignite, blowing out the entire structure. There's no chance at all of survival in this heat. So fact number 3 is the heat. It is mind-boggling. The heat alone kills in seconds. One breath of superheated air can destroy your lungs. Fact number 4, time. Most people think they have time in a fire, but in a fire, there is no time.
The front windows blew out, and it swept that wall of flames right up that hall. It was a matter of seconds, and my kids would have been dead.
I smelled smoke. We went back to get the dog and a few valuables, and by the time we went back, it was too late. We couldn't get out.
Here's what we mean by time. A wastebasket fire begins. It's undetected. Within a minute, the sofa is on fire, and the smoke is beginning to fill the room. But it hasn't set off the smoke detector in the next room. Upstairs, there's no warning yet. Downstairs, the heat is intense enough to knock you unconscious if you try to enter. Now, it's 2 minutes into the fire. The smoke detector goes off. This is your first warning there's a fire. The smoke pours upstairs. Downstairs, it's now 3 minutes. The room is fully involved. The thick, choking smoke is lowered. Nobody would survive in this room. Now, it's 4 minutes into the fire. The upstairs and downstairs hallways are impassable. If you didn't have an escape plan, you're trapped. It's been only 2 minutes since the smoke detector sounded the alarm. In all, it took 5 minutes after the fire started for the gas, smoke, and heat inside the house to kill everyone.
In 2 to 5 minutes, forget it. It's all over.
So it turns out that time may be your biggest enemy in a fire. You may have less than a minute or 2 to get your family out safely. So there you have it. Basic facts which most Americans don't know. 1, a fire is black. It is not light. You will not be able to see in a fire. Expect that. 2, the smoke and the gas in a fire will kill you, not the flames. 3, the heat is so intense your body simply shuts down. You will die within seconds. And 4, time. You have no time in a fire. You must get out. If you know these 4 basic facts, you can plan to get out alive. Let's see how you respond to these common fire situations. How would you respond to this common accident in the kitchen, a grease fire? Would you reach for a lid cover if it were handy and place it over the flames? Or would you pour baking soda on the flames? Would you use a fire extinguisher? Or would you use water?
I would use baking soda.
I would put a lid on it.
The baking soda, I think, works if you don't have a fire extinguisher.
The correct way to deal with a grease fire, use a lid cover, baking soda, or fire extinguisher. How well do they work? Watch. The lid cover removes the supply of oxygen that the fire needs, and the flames die down quickly. Know where the baking soda is handy, and pour it over the flames. You may expect a slight flare-up, but keep pouring, and the fire will die. A fire extinguisher will quickly douse the flames, and the newer fire extinguishers cause very little mess. The one thing you don't want to do is to throw water on a grease fire. Watch what happens if I do. This kitchen fire is now getting out of control. In your home, how long do you think it would take for this same fire to get out of control? Do you think it would take 30 seconds? Do you think it would take a minute? Do you think it would take 5 minutes, or do you think it would take 10 minutes? What do you think? Most people think they have at least 5 minutes or more, but that's wrong. The correct answer, you may have no more than 30 seconds before the fire gets out of control. The advice is get out of the kitchen, alert the family, leave the building, call a fire department from outside the building. Don't go back into the house or apartment. Wait for the firefighters to arrive and take over. In the wrong hands, a match or cigarette lighter can kill. For parents, consider this interesting question. Which do you think would be more dangerous in the hands of a child? A loaded .38 or a cigarette lighter? Think about it for a moment. It's a question that Fire Marshal Charlie Wagner must answer every night when he comes home from work. He locks his gun and his lighter in a drawer.
This is more dangerous than a loaded .38 revolver. placed on a kitchen table in front of a child. This is more dangerous because this can kill dozens of people.
Children are intrigued by fire, blowing out matches or candles. Ask your youngster where the matches are kept, and you may be in for a surprise.
They're in the kitchen on the top drawer. She keeps them on a counter in a cookie jar. They're on the counter next to the refrigerator in the kitchen.
Here's a question. Children killed from playing with matches and lighters are usually how old? 3 years, 6 years, or 9 years? The answer shocks many. It's toddlers, usually around the age of 3, killed while playing with lighters and matches. Children don't mean to kill with matches, nor do careless smokers mean to kill with cigarettes, yet both do. Question. True or false? Most fires caused by careless smoking are in the bedroom.
I think it's true because people probably fall asleep in bed, the cigarette hits the mattress, it smolders and starts a fire.
True. People get too relaxed and they forget about the fact that they're smoking.
I think a lot of people that smoke in bed. They have their last cigarette before they go to sleep at night and fall asleep with the cigarette still burning, and so that it starts a fire.
The correct answer is false. Most careless smoking fires occur in any room of the house, the living room, the television room, the playroom, any room you smoke in. You're at a party. The folks are smoking and drinking, having a good time, and unnoticed to anyone, someone has dropped a cigarette butt on the couch. How long do you think that cigarette butt would continue to smolder before bursting into flame? Do you think it would be 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour? Or maybe you think it would smolder for 3 hours before breaking into flame. The answer is that cigarette butt could smolder for well on to 3 or 4 hours before bursting into flames, well after you've gone to bed. Now, let's see how well you can plan to get out alive if a fire breaks out in your home. The house is on fire, there's smoke and there's flame. How much time do you think you have to wake up the family, to call the fire department, to look for the valuables, look for the pet? How much time do you have to fight the fire? How much time do you think you have? How much time do you have before this fire could kill you? 1 minute? 5 minutes? Do you have 10 minutes? Or 15 minutes?
I would say about 10 minutes.
I don't know, 10 minutes?
About 10, 15 minutes, I guess.
The correct answer is 1 minute before you are trapped. You don't have time. Time is your enemy. You measure it in seconds and minutes. If you didn't get out of that building in the first 2 minutes, you were dead. But let's begin at the beginning. The smoke detector goes off. It's the middle of the night. How would you react? And answer truthfully. What is the first thing you think you'd do? Would you call the fire department? Would you rush off to see what set off the alarm? Would you wake everybody up? Or would you run for your valuables? Would you start getting dressed?
I would start getting dressed.
I'd call the fire department first.
And I'd run for the valuables.
Most people would do the wrong thing. The correct answer is, first wake everybody up and then get out of the house. It's important to remember time is against you. First, make sure everyone knows there's a fire, then get out. Make your calls from outside the burning building. You've taken the first step. You've awakened everyone. But as you try to get out, you run into dense smoke. What would you do? Would you take a deep breath and make a run for it? Would you crawl toward safety? Or would you go back into your room and close the door?
Back in the room.
I tried to get out of the stairway.
The correct answer is you would go back into your room and close the door.
If you allow it to remain open, the fire and smoke will follow you. It will spread through the house rapidly, killing everyone. The fire will spread with enormous speed. So remember, you must keep the door closed. That way you keep the fire and the smoke away from you.
If the firefighters don't get to you in minutes or there's no help, jumping from a one-story dwelling would save your life. The fire in your house is now out of control, and you must evacuate as quickly as possible. True or false? The best way to make sure that everyone gets out safely is get out together. Is that true, or do you think that's false?
Go out together, everyone, together, okay?
I think it's false, because if you waited to get a whole group out, you'd probably all get stuck.
Everybody should get out at the same time.
The correct answer is false. Sometimes you can get out together, but in most cases you have to leave individually, and that means you must have an escape plan. You must know where the exits are. You must know who is to help the youngest and the oldest. You must have a predetermined meeting place outside the building. And above all, you must hold fire drills so you know what to do.
If you live in a high-rise, there are other